Okay, the third site we're going to look at is Bible.is. This has very many languages. It focuses a bit more on audio and video Bibles. So you can see as soon as I open it and default to the ESV, it gives me a video option for the Gospels. These are the Lumo Project Gospel films, which use the direct words of Scripture, and I can play that and hear.
And Boaz, the father of Obed, by Ruth.
Now, we want to see how this looks in other languages. So we can click here. You've got an additional option because you can search by language or you can search by country. And you might find languages that you didn't know were spoken in that country. Let's have a look at Iran. Okay, we've got loads here. Realistically, I don't think there are many South Korean speakers in Iran, but there are speakers of Bakhtiari, of Gilaki, of Dari, languages which perhaps we're not particularly aware of, Armenian as well. But you might find that you have people in classes who speak those languages. Probably not a good idea to use it in a class because they're minority languages. The ones that we want to use are Western Farsi, which is the main form of Farsi used in Iran, and Central Kurdish, which is another name for Sorani. So, Western Farsi. Okay, it gives us three options, really, for translations. The 2009 Millennium Version, New Millennium Version, this was an earlier edition. The one we're using is the 2014. Today's Persian version, so that was the kind of more paraphrase translation. And you can see there's pros and cons with these because we've got one version which is text only, one which is audio only, and one which is audio and text. So this is a little bit limiting. If we go to the New Millennium Version 2014, there we go. That gives us the text of the Bible. Now, imagine I want to listen to that. Well, unfortunately, there's not the option for that particular translation. We have to use an earlier edition. And if we do so, it comes up. There we go.
کتاب مزامیر کتاب اول.
But we haven't got the text which goes with it, which is a bit unfortunate. Notice we have here the whole Bible.
باب دوم سلطنت پادشاه برگزیده خود.
So you noticed on the previous website we looked at Bible.com, we didn't have the Old Testament in Farsi as an audio Bible. This one has, but in an earlier edition. Now, the feature on this one, which definitely wasn't on the other website, is the video option. So for the Gospels alone, we have got this. Now, this only works for the Gospels. So let's go to Matthew. And we've got the text of Matthew chapter 1. Let's just go to another chapter just to demonstrate this. Now the text of Matthew chapter 12. And we can play it. And we've got
در آن
video
زمان عیسی در روز
accompanying the
شبات
chapter.
از میان مزارع گندم می‌گذشت. شاگردان او به علت گرسنگی شروع به چیدن خوشه‌های گندم و خوردن آنها کردند.
This is word for word from the New Millennium Version. So nothing has been added for cinematic purposes. Okay, so that is Bible.is. Okay, we've looked at the Farsi one. Let's have a look at Kurdish. So Central Kurdish is what we want for Sorani. This time we only have the Kurdish Sorani standard version. There are other options, but we can highlight that as before. Just choose a random chapter, and there it is. Now, you'll notice if you're thinking how on earth am I meant to know what book of the Bible that is? It's similar to Bible.com. We've got the 3-letter code here for the book names. So I know this is Numbers chapter 5. And if I want to find another passage like Leviticus, I can just type in Lev instead, and it should come up. So that is Bible.is. Now, our fourth and final option is JavaScripture. This is a Christadelphian creation. This was made by Ben Dwyer at Walsall. And the purpose of this is somewhat different. It's more designed as a Bible study package. So we've got features like the ability to highlight words and to highlight how they occur in the chapter. And then you've got kind of Strong's references here. However, that is going to be complicating things rather too much for using in Farsi. I strongly recommend, if you're going down the lines of referring to Strong's numbers, it's going to get very much lost in translation. So let's see what we can do with this as regard to language. Well, we've got a range of versions. We can try the ESV again. And here we can change from the Greek to a Farsi version. And we've got 3 options: the Old Persian version, today's Persian version, and New Millennium. So let's got New Millennium there. Now, for some reason that has not come up, but if I just try typing in another passage, hopefully it should appear. There we go. So there are several advantages to this. Once again, it's a bit more stripped down. You can see that we haven't got sort of all the peripheral stuff that some of the other sites had. Another excellent feature is the fact that the verses match up. So as you scroll down in the English, you're in the same place in Farsi, which is definitely a big advantage. You can, of course, delete these. You might have seen these little boxes here. So if we just want to have Farsi, we can do, or we can open a new box and put English in. And the advantage with this site, which the others don't have, is it's not just parallel of 2 versions, but we can actually do 3. Just if we happened to be having a discussion about different Farsi versions, then there's the option there. You can select these and then paste them to your document or maybe to your PowerPoint so that you've got verses on screen. So let me just try it with Farsi. There we go. Now, something I would strongly recommend if you are copying Farsi verses into a Word document or into PowerPoint, do just double check that you have got the right verse. Sometimes there's little glitches in the software that means you select the wrong verse. So it's a good idea just to, just try it out on Google Translate. See whether that verse that I picked up was correct. And there we go. We've got the correct translation there. So those are 4 websites that you might want to use in order to find and copy verses from Farsi and Sorani Bibles, or maybe to, in your services or class, display this on screen so that people can follow the readings together. Have a play around. You will find which one suits you, and there's other features on here which I haven't talked about that you'll find as you work through as well. Hopefully that's been useful and you can try and use those in your own time.